All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for enemies think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. You will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. But another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. I had to believe Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote it. Hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. Let's pick this up in Luke chapter 22, verse 27, and get this show on the road. Shalom, Jay. And then we'll hit what we need to look at in Esther, and then let the chips fall where they may. Shalom, Sister Kelly. Let's get it rolling. Luke 22 and 27. For whether, or 26, I should say, but you not so, but he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief as he that do serve. For whether greater, he that sit at meat or he that serve? Not he that sit at meat, but I am among you as he that serve. You are they which have continued with me on my temptations. I have appointed unto you a Malkuth, as my Abba have appointed unto me, that you may eat and drink at my table in my Malkuth, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Yasharal. Shalom, Mish. So let's hit this Esther 1, then we'll look at this Esther 2, and then we're going to get this party started. Of course, we've been just looking at things in regards to sitting down and eating at his table. I know y'all know we concluded last night, of looking at that framework, of that foreshadowing of the marriage supper of the Lamb, and the focus is having that mind and desire to sit down and eat at his table. See, a lot of people don't want to sit down and eat at his table. A lot of people want to do other things. Esther 1 and 3. In the third year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and all his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces before him. When he showed the riches of his esteemed Malkuth and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, 180 days. And when these days were expired, the Malik made a feast. Shalom, Brother Reynolds. Unto all the people that were present in Shushan the palace, both unto the great, small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. White, green, blue, fastened with cords of fine linen, purple, to silver rings. Pillars of marble. When are y'all going to get it? Go. Shalom, Dap. Pillars of marble. The bed, gold and silver upon pavement of red, blue, white, black marble. And they gave drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another. Royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king, drinking according to the law. None did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Esther chapter 2, verse 16. So Esther was taken unto King Xerxes into his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. The Malik loved Hadassah above all women, and she obtained mercy and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the Malik made a great feast unto all the princes and his servants, Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. So, with that being said, we done ran down what we had to look at. And let's see how we want to do this. Yes. Proverbs 15, everybody. Proverbs 15. You can make it Proverbs 15 and 8. Come here, Joanne. I'm on Proverbs 15:8.
The sacrifice of the wicked an abomination to Yahuwah, but the prayer of the upright the righteousness. Correction grievous unto him that forsake the way, and he that hate reproof shall die. Hell and destruction before Yahuwah, how much more than the hearts of the children of men?
If he say the grave and destruction is before him, you don't think the minds of the sons of Adam are before his face? Go ahead.
A scorner love not one that reprove him, neither will he go unto the wise. A merry heart make a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the ruach is broken. The heart of him that have understanding seek knowledge, but the mouth of fools feed on foolishness.
Go ahead.
All the days of the afflicted evil, but he that is of a merry heart, a continual feast.
That's what you says. He that is of a merry heart has a what?
Continual feast.
What could this mean? What could this mean? So the first thing first is I'm going to talk to you about a merry heart. So, of course, you know what that is. Mary is told. That's why it Leb has a Tamid mistake. And what is that? That is a continual feast, drink, or banquet. So what do y'all think this could refer to? What do you think this could mean? What do y'all think this could mean? If you have a good mind, you have a perpetual drinking, a perpetual banquet. All right, go ahead and get the lights up on YouTube, by the way. Baby boo. Come on. Oh, y'all ain't got no idea. Y'all ain't got nothing for me. So let's take a look at the passage again. It said, all the days of the afflicted evil, but he that is of a good mind have a Tamid mistake. Again, Tamid. Continuity, perpetuity, continuous. This is daily. It's never continual employment. So this is a particular feast that will never stop because they have a good mind. Well, let me show you this here, right? Come to 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter 3 and 10. Now remember, matter of fact, give me John 7:37. John 7:37.
In the last day, that great of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink.
He said it was the last great day of what?
The feast.
And he said, if any man
thirst,
let him do what?
Come and drink.
Because out of his belly
shall flow rivers of living water.
For this he spake,
which they that believe on him shall receive. For the Ruach HaKadosh was not yet.
Now notice that it's here, right? If you believe on him as the scripture has said, then he said, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. So clearly you would have a good, shalom, you would clearly have a good mind and you would have a continual drink. Because remember, it's feast, drink, or banqueting. So you would have a continual feast. Read John 7:37 again.
In the last day that great of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst,
let him what?
Come unto me and drink.
Why?
He that believe on me, as the scriptures have said.
You got to do what?
Believe on me, as the scriptures have said.
Believe on him as what?
The scriptures have said.
Why?
Out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
So this is a continual drink, a continual feast. It's not stopping. It's not stopping. When you have a good lab, when you have a general principle. Matter of fact, don't even go to Matthew 13. Go to Luke chapter 8. Go to Luke 8. Give me verse 10.
And he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Elohim, but to others in parables, that seeing they might not see, and hearing they might not understand.
Now,
the parable is this.
The seed
is the word of Elohim.
Now drop down to verse 15.
But that on the good ground are they which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, keep and bring forth fruit with patience.
They bring forth fruit with what? Patience. So this is going to be continual. You got to understand something, right? The name Yahuwah, what does it mean? What does his name mean? No. What does the name Yahuwah mean? He is self-existing. He is self-sustaining. Do you recall what he said in Deuteronomy 32 about himself when he lifted up his right hand to heaven? He swears that he does what? That he lives forever. Yahuwah is continual. Don't he tell you that the word is continual, that it abides forever? So anyone who has a good mind, meaning you have received the seed has been fertilized in your mind and brought forth fruit. You never stop bringing forth fruit. What does the text describe the tree of life? What does it say the tree of life does? When you look at Ezekiel 47, when you look in Revelation 22, what does it say that the tree of life does? Don't worry about it. Ezekiel 47, verse 12. Tell me what it says. I might read both because that's just how I'm feeling.
And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat.
We talked about it not too long ago, but remind them again.
Nabel, that's to be senseless, be foolish.
So the leaves of this tree are not foolish.
To fall away, to fail, to faint.
To fail to see, you got to pause right for a second, right? Why would it be necessary for him to describe the leaves of a tree to not be foolish? That wouldn't be necessary if you were talking about an actual tree. Recall, what did we read last night in Luke 24 when this man sat down and gave them that word? What did it say that those men did? What did it say? What happened to those men? Their eyes were open. Now I want to go back and I want to focus on that a little bit. You can stay right where you at. I got it. You stay right where you at. I want you to come over here to Genesis chapter 3. I'm going to pick it up at verse 1, and then I'm going to go back to Luke 24 because we mentioned it, but I ain't give you no time with it. And you don't feed this nigga before you leave the house? I'm talking to you. I'm saying you don't feed this nigga before you leave the house. So you don't feed this nigga before you leave the house? No, you don't have a career. You own a job. Technically, you own a job.
Okay, so I'm busy.
But clearly you made that.
I didn't make that.
I didn't make that. You make it every other day.
Today I was winning.
That's how you can turn your head all you want. You got a crook in your neck. You might need to see a chiropractor. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, have Elohim said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? The woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. Let me ask you a question. Where is that again? What does the book always say when it referred to you in the midst? Don't it always say he in the midst? Mm-hmm. Now get me Zephaniah 3:5 just for confirmation.
The just Yahuwah in the midst thereof, he will not do iniquity.
The who? The just who?
Yahuwah.
In the where?
Midst thereof.
So you're dealing with in the midst, in the middle. This is where the tree of knowledge of good and evil is. It's in the midst of the garden. Do me another favor. I want you to get me Revelation chapter 2. Tell me what verse 17 says. Revelation 2:17.
He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saying to the churches. To him that overcome will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and then the stone, the new name written, which no man knows, saving he that received.
Go ahead.
And unto the Malachim of the church in Thyatira, write these, saying, the son of Elohim, who have his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet like fine brass. I know your works in charity, and service and faith.
Hold on. It's 2 and 7. Revelation 2 and 7.
He that have an ear, let him hear what the Ruach say unto the churches. To him that overcome will I give to eat of the tree of life.
Where is that?
Which is in the midst of the paradise of Elohim.
So guess what? That means the tree of life and the tree of knowledge and good and evil was in the midst of the garden. Can we go over here to Genesis and let me look and see? Genesis 2 and 9. Listen to it. Out of the ground made Yahuwah Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So they both were in the midst of the garden. And who's always in the midst? Just Yahuwah. So that means both of these trees are of Yahuwah. Now I know we went through it on numerous occasions, but I just want to hammer home the point, especially if there's people coming through here who ain't heard this before, that there is nothing wicked about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. What most people don't tell you, what most people don't understand, is that these two trees are representative of law and faith. Point blank period. During the time period that, of course, for the last 3 weeks before this, when we were looking at the law came by Moses, but grace and truth came by Yahushua HaMashiach, it's the same thing. The law came first. Now, we mentioning this because we're going to show you that Yahushua is the tree of life in the midst of the garden, because when he resurrected from the dead, that's why when he gave them the fruit of said tree by breaking bread with them, that's why their eyes were opened. The same way that Adam's eyes were opened in the midst of a garden. Because if you don't realize it or not, when he sat down with them, they were in the midst of a garden. But nevertheless, let's continue. Genesis chapter 3, verse 3. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim have said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. For Elohim do know that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree good for food, and that is pleasant to the eyes, a tree desired to make wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them were both opened, and they knew that they naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Now, I'm going to do this here because just in case, if there's somebody on here to be like, this nigga is insane, don't call me insane because ain't nobody told you what that tree was. You ain't never sit back and pause and ask yourself why all these people been out here teaching the word for years and ain't nobody told you what this tree was. Because if you don't think that there's an explanation in the text, that means that people are woefully misinformed when it comes to instructing us on the word. And they just pulling stuff out their butt crack and throwing it up against the wall and seeing what sticks. And then we run with the stuff and talk about it and we be incorrect. You understand? So let's come over here to 2 Timothy chapter 1, man. Give me verse 7, if you will. Don Joanne. You done gave her that fruit, she on 10. That baby like fruit.
Elohim have not given us a ruach of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Be not you therefore ashamed of the testimony of our Lord.
With old Timothy. And it is 1 Timothy 1 and 7 what we need, but you could give me 5 though. Shoot, you could make it 4. 1 Timothy 1 and 4.
Neither give heed to fables and endless
Hold on for a second, because this dog gonna think about it. I hate when this jump been doing that again lately.
Had a good one.
No, it's just that. Go ahead, come on.
Neither
1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 4.
Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies.
Don't give heed to what?
Fables and
Tell them
endless
what
genealogies.
fables mean in here, man. Because you know Paul made it in another letter to Titus about Jewish fables. What is a fable?
Muthos, a speech, word, saying, a narrative, a story.
Don't give heed to the narratives, stories, and doctrines of men. Not Aesop's fables like this here, which in reality, if you're dealing with doctrines of men, you're dealing with an Aesop fable. But that's what it means when he say, don't give heed to doctrines of men. It's the same thing that Isaiah 29 tell you. It's the same thing that Matthew 15 tell you. Because the fear of me is taught by the precepts and doctrines of men. He say, do not go for the doctrines of men, nor endless genealogies. And I'm here to tell you, the tree of knowledge of good and evil was not the doctrine of a man if Elohim planted the tree. Don't y'all understand, son, that if Elohim planted the tree was good? It just wasn't good for man to deal with at that particular time, and you about to find out why if you don't know. Continue in verse 4.
Which minister questions rather than godly edifying, which is in faith.
Paul, so he said, when you deal with these endless genealogies and these doctrines of men, all it does is serve to add more questions instead of faithful building up of the body. Tell them what edify mean in Greek, because it could be different from the one in Romans 15. Because in Romans 15, when they say love, edify, that means build. For those of us who know the word, you know in 2 Kings 13, it was dealing with the building of the house. You thought that was really talking about building a house? It was talking about building the body. The house is the people. He don't dwell in temples made with hands. This man Solomon said, man, he said, you contain the heavens of heavens. How much more is this house going to contain you? This don't mean that you don't go fellowship in a house of worship. It means that Yahuwah don't dwell in a physical place, literally. He seeks to dwell in man. He told you that in your law. How you don't know that? See, and I'm not saying this to y'all like how you don't know that. I want you to question, why have you been listening to people who cannot even explain to you the simplest of matters, and your life is on the line? You know what I'm talking about? Bump all the other stuff, man. Your life is on the line. And when you go stand before this man, how are you even going to have a belly that has rivers of living water flowing from it because you believe on the scripture has said, and you don't even know what's in the script? You don't even understand it to believe it. How will the water flow? How are you going to have a good heart so you can have a continual feast? That is going to be a very difficult thing for you to accomplish. Matter of fact, it's truth be told, it's going to be impossible. Because how can you call on him whom you have not heard? And faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word. So if you've never heard of the man, you can't even believe in the man. And if you can't believe in the man, that means you can't have a good heart. And if you can't have a good heart, that means you can't have a continual feast. And you can take this information and you could do what you want to with it. And you can say, man, that nigga don't know. Well, you can say whatever you want. But when you stand before this man, that's the day that you'll find out that the word of Yahuwah is right. That I'm right. The word is right. You can take and do what you want to with it. It's not going to change the fact that the word is right. That's not going to change that. You not agreeing with it, or you feeling like, oh, that nigga just making that up. He just talking. That's not going to change the fact that the word right. Because guess what? If I said it and it's wrong, I'm going to hell. That's the part that you don't understand. It's not, he'll straighten it out. Nah, man, if you was teaching incorrect things in this man's name, that man going to hold you to task for that. He ain't gonna give you a pass talking about you was waking up the people. That man don't care about none of that. You making that up to make yourself feel better at the fact that you don't know what the hell you talking about. Now you can take and do what you want to with it. Come on, man. Verse 5.
I almost said edifying is the management of a household or of household affairs.
So he said godly managing a household affair. How you gonna be able to do that? You can't even manage household affairs. You can't even manage household affairs. That's a problem. Continue.
Now, the end of the commandment is charity out of a pure heart.
The purpose of the instruction is love from a pure heart. That's the purpose of the word. You're supposed to have love of God and love for your neighbor. That's the purpose of the word. Continue.
And a good conscience and faith unfeigned.
So you should have a good mind. You see how that go back to the other part? Give him conscience by definition.
The consciousness of anything, co-perception, moral consciousness.
A pleasant mind. You see how they go back to Proverbs? And he said your faith should be unfaked. That's what we were talking about the other day. But let's keep on going. Verse 6.
From which some having swerved have turned aside unto vain jangling.
Tell them what jangling is. I know y'all know what it is, but I'm not insulting your intelligence. I just wanted to be made plain and on.
Vain talk and empty talk.
Empty talk. Don't you know it say something like that in Job? Come over here to Job. Let me show you. I think it's Job 17. No, it ain't Job 17. It's one of them. I'm gonna find it. I just was going to read this the other day. Nah, it's escaping. Hold on. So I know some people, I don't like what he say. You know, he just be saying stuff. My elder ain't told me that. And that's unfortunate. Yeah, Job 15 and 1. Job 15 and 1.
Then answered Eliphaz the Temanite and said, should a wise man utter vain knowledge?
Should a wise man utter what?
Vain knowledge.
Should he do what?
Utter vain knowledge and fill his belly with the east wind? Should he reason with unprofitable talk?
Should he do what?
Reason with unprofitable talk.
Should he reason with unprofitable talk or speeches?
Wherewith he can do no good?
Oh my goodness. That man just asked a real live question, didn't it? Read it again from the top.
Should a wise man utter vain knowledge and fill his belly with the east wind?
Should a wise man utter worthless information?
Should he reason with unprofitable talk?
Tell him what reason means. Should he reason with talk that has no gain or no opportunity for success?
Reason is to prove, decide, judge, rebuke,
so
prove, correct, to be right.
He said reprove and rebuke, right? Now give it unprofitable talk.
Unprofitable is to be of use, service, or profit or benefit.
So why should this man be talking about words that cannot correct you with any benefit? Now I want you to come over here, man, and get me 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 14. Let me see how that worked for you. Amen.
But continue you in the things which you have learned.
Really stuff spanning from starting off out of Proverbs, whatever, 15 and 14, whichever one it was, Sloan Child. But right now, we coming from the 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 6, talking about vain jangling. And you can see from this vain jangling that Job 15 and 1 about a man shouldn't be reasoning with unprofitable talk. So he should not be trying to correct, reprove, and rebuke with what was unprofitable again?
To be of use.
That is not of any use. And he shouldn't be using empty knowledge. So let's look at 2 Timothy 3 and 14. Listen to it.
But continue you in the things which you have learned. And
continue what?
And with things which you have learned.
And who you've what?
Been assured of, knowing of whom you have learned.
See, this is the thing, right? You have to be assured of whom you have learned. And if you haven't learned Yahushua HaMashiach, as the scripture has said, how can you continue? How are you going to have a good mind that's going to have a continual feast? How is that going to happen? Go ahead, man.
And that from a child you have known the Kadash scriptures.
You have known the what?
Kadash scriptures.
Which are able
to make you wise.
Under what?
Salvation.
Through the what?
Faith which is in Yahushua HaMashiach.
Well, if you don't know the Kadash scriptures, remember those that don't know the law are cursed. If you don't know the Kadash scriptures, how you going to be wise in the faith of Yahushua? Boy, knowing you Israelite ain't going to cut it, my G. Knowing these law, that's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it because it's not going to produce in you what's going to need to be produced. And we're going to see that going back to Genesis chapter 3, by the way. Continue.
All scripture given by inspiration.
All what?
All scripture is given by inspiration of Elohim.
And is what?
Profitable for doctrine.
And for what else?
Reproof.
And what else?
Correction.
And what else?
Instruction in righteousness.
So look at this here. It said reproof and rebuke, right? So the profitable speech you're supposed to be speaking according to the word. But you got men out here reasoning with unprofitable talk. How you trying to correct and rebuke people with talk that's not going to give them no benefit in what you're talking about? That's why he said they didn't swerve aside the vain jangling. Keep on going, good sir.
That the man of Elohim may be perfect.
May be what?
Perfect.
So if you can use the word to reprove, to rebuke, and instruct them in the righteousness of faith, the man of God will be perfect. Stop letting these people tell you you won't be perfect. Man, I be seeing people all the time. They tell you this here, man. If you ain't never heard this before today, let me be the first. Stop letting people tell you you can't stop sinning and you'll never stop sinning. Anybody who tell you that is not of God. Because if anybody was of God, they would tell you exactly what that man told you in Luke 9 and 23. Take up your stake daily and follow him. Deny yourself. He that suffered in the flesh ceased from sin, that he should no longer live the rest of his times in the flesh to the lust of the flesh, but to the will of God. Stop letting people lie to you. Stop letting people convince you that you can't stop doing something because they don't have the desire to do it. All you got to worry about is the day that you in. That's it. I don't care if you sinned yesterday. Just focus on, I'm not going to sin today and the next day And if he allowed me to live another day and the next day. But as long as you let people tell you you can't stop, didn't this man say he that commits sin is the servant of sin, and the son don't do what? He don't abide in the house. He say he that commits sin is the servant of sin, and the servant don't abide in the house. You ain't washed your hands. You ain't washed your feet. You ain't got a wedding garment on. You're going to be standing there speechless. See, there's some people right now, they gritting their teeth. Man, this nigga here crazy. Man, nah, man. Read the book for yourself. What's so hard about it? I know what's hard about it. Your heart is not good because you don't want to make a new heart and a new spirit. See, it's not difficult to put away sin when you want to make a new heart and a new spirit. But when you want to keep the same mind that you've been had, which is defiled through the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life, you'll never stop. Because you ain't took on the mind of God. You got to take on the mind of God to put that away. You got to have a heart that has a desire for him. But if you don't have that, well, you're going to keep doing what you're doing. And that is what it is, man. And you ain't got to like it. But guess what? It's right. Because that's what the words say. Come on, man. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 6, one more time.
From which some, having swerved, have turned aside unto vain jangling,
desiring
to be teachers of the law.
But they don't understand
what they say.
Neither were therefore they affirm. But we know the law is what?
Good.
If a man do what?
Use it lawfully.
Didn't they say that tree was good in the garden?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Knowing what?
This, that the law is not made for a righteous man.
It's not made for a who?
A righteous man.
It's not made for a who?
A righteous man.
Who it made for?
For the lawless and disobedient.
Now let me ask y'all a question. Was Adam a righteous man when he was made? I want y'all answers on that. Real talk, man. I ain't trying to be funny, facetious, or nothing. Was Adam a righteous man in the day that he was made? Yes or no? And if you got script to back it up, please, by all means, share it. But I'd like to hear from everybody. Was Adam a righteous man in the day that he was made? Derek said, yes, he was. He was made upright. Said yes also. Y'all in the room can answer at your leisure. Yes. Yeah. Little Johnny said yes. Mother Sharona said yes. If anybody got any verses they want to add with it, by all means, Brother Reynolds said yes. Boop said yes. Little Johnny said because he was made in the image of God. Anybody else before we put? Brother Ellis said yes. Give me Ecclesiastes, man. Y'all can still answer if you wish. Darius said yes. 1 Timothy 2 and 14. Adam, Miss Hill said yes also. Because Darius said because Adam was not deceived. Stanley said Genesis 2 and 25. Read Genesis 2 and 25 for me, Civic. I was finna read it, Derek. I sure was. You can read 1 Timothy 2 and 14 also that Darius offered.
And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed.
They were not what?
Ashamed.
They were not what?
Ashamed.
If you're not ashamed, that means you ain't got no sin because your nakedness don't appear. Monte came with the same 1 2 and 14 that Darius offered, so we got two for that one. So let's go ahead. That's two witnesses. It's been established. Let's read it.
And Adam was not deceived.
Adam was not what?
Deceived.
But what?
The woman being deceived was in the transgression.
And it's all good if somebody else said it. That just means that Darren just said it on Clubhouse. That means it's just two witnesses that's to establish that particular passage. Come ahead and get me Ecclesiastes, man. You can read me 7:25 though. I just want to establish to you, because so if Adam was a righteous man, right? And he was naked, but he was not ashamed. Because if you know the text, your nakedness is a symbolic of your sin. But he was naked, that means he had no sin. That's why he wasn't ashamed. You understand? So what did that mean? When he told him, don't eat from this tree, it's because he was a righteous man. He didn't need no law. He wasn't no sinner. The only people who need the law are sinners. That's why the book say, when what? You won't sin, and say you'll keep his instructions. Get Jeremiah 31 and 33 for him, man. Just in case so they can see it. You can make it 31 and 31. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. Boop.
Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah.
The days what?
The days come,
Say of who?
Yahuwah.
That he gonna do what?
Make a new covenant with the house of Yasharal.
And the who?
The house of Yehuda.
That's right.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers.
This ain't like the covenant he made with your forefathers.
And the day I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith Yahuwah. But this the covenant that I will make with the house of Yasharal. After those days, saith Yahuwah, I will put my law in their inward parts.
He put his law where?
In their inward parts.
And where else?
And in their hearts, it will be their Elohim.
And I'll be there. See, he didn't do that with your forefathers. Where was that law at? It was on 2 tables of stone. He said, I'm going to put it in you. The only way he could put his word in you, he got to put his spirit in you. Go ahead.
And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his neighbor, saying, Know Yahuwah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest.
Oh, so when he say know Yahuwah, that's Yada. That's to experience Yahuwah. That's why they say we ain't in a new covenant because we tell, man, if you don't receive this man's spirit, man, you've experienced this man. Ain't nobody got to teach you nothing if you experience God. The reason why you still being taught because you ain't experienced God, boy. How else you going to get to that point of receiving the Ruach? You got to believe on him as the scripture has said. That means if Yahushua ain't never been preached to you, there's no way in the world you got the spirit. Because if you got it, then you should be able to identify this man in the volume of the book. And not because you're an apostle per se, but because somebody had already preached him to you. So you would have already heard it and believed it. So therefore you can identify it. If you can't, if the only place you can go look at it and say, see, here go Jesus right here. Here go Yahushua right here. And the only place you run to is Isaiah 53 and Daniel 7. Well, you don't believe on this man as the scripture has said. You just following behind what other people told you. You don't really believe the word. You don't really know the word. And I'm not saying that to ridicule you. I'm saying that for you to understand that your faith ain't what you think it is. Because you should know him. And if you know him, you would have experienced him. If you still hadn't had an experience with Yahuwah, you don't know him. He said, Kadash Abba, the world have not known you. They haven't experienced you. I ain't saying you got to have a supernatural experience, but you would have had an experience, Shalom, man. You would have an experience with him because you know him. Can you really say you know a person in the flesh if you ain't never experienced them? Could you say that? You can't really say you can say you know of someone and you know them and somebody speaks falsely against them. You'd be like, oh, no. I know this person. They don't do that. What are you talking about? I done told y'all this before, man. Well, how we used to be trapping down in Atlantic Beach, man, because you know what I'm saying? That's when I went back to Atlantic Beach, I was trapping with my homeboy out east. You know what I'm saying? And they would have the smokers in the house. This is how they operate. See, on the beach, they didn't really do that. They didn't really sit in the spot and let the smoker stay in there and smoke or the trick, you know what I'm talking about? And then they'll come back out and spend their money that they this, that, and the third. They wasn't accustomed to that. So I had a period where I left from down there, went out east and hustled a little bit, came back down to the beach and implemented that down there. So niggas like this here, niggas see my homeboy and my homegirl and Justina, they be like, oh, that nigga smoke crack, because that's like what we were doing. But they know me. So they was like, nah, nigga, you crazy as hell. I'm not going to let you sit here and say that about my homeboy. This nigga won't even let us smoke a boonk in his car, which I wouldn't. You're not getting in my car smoking no weed and coke. Niggas, you insane? I don't want my car smelling like that. But see, that's the thing, right? When somebody know you and they say something, no, you're not going for that. So when you know Yahuwah and somebody bring bad doctrine or say something against Yahuwah, get what you're going to be like, oh, no, my father don't operate like that. What is you talking about? Because I know him. That's how you beat the devil. That's how you can resist him, stand fast in the faith. That's how you can beat evil men who seduce and are seducing and deceived and being deceived because you know your maker. When you don't know your maker, anybody can tell you anything because you haven't experienced them because you don't know him. Continue.
And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahuwah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them. Saith Yahuwah, for I will forgive their iniquity.
You forgive what?
Their iniquity.
And remember,
their sin no more.
See, that's why you know, that's how you know we in the new covenant, boy. Because if not, your sin still remember before heaven, boy, you going to hell. See, that's the part of the new covenant part that don't nobody talk about. That man say, I'm not going to remember your sins. Have you forgotten that you broke the old covenant? Without him making a new one, your sin's still sitting right in heaven. right in his face. A kafar, there has to be a reconciliation. There has to be a redemption. If not, he gonna remember them sins, man. But if you knew your maker, you would already know that. I'm telling you that this old glorying in your flesh, Israel junk, that junk gonna cause you to go to hell, boy, because you ain't gonna know what you need to know. And you ain't gonna get where you need to go. And you ain't gonna receive what you say you out to get. You know how many groups talking about they got the spirit? When you ask them how they got it, well, because I kept the law. That's how you know that nigga don't know no word. You got to know the word. Man, look here, man. If you don't know the word, nigga tell you anything, you'll go for it. Don't y'all know that some of y'all be mad at the Christian church being deceived and these Hebrew niggas lying to you 10 times worse? Because the Christian people ain't claiming they know the word like that. The Hebrews saying they top flight biblical scholars and teachers. And these niggas dumb as hell. These niggas don't know what they talking about. Because I listen to these dudes, man. And by the grace of Elohim, I know the word. I be like, woo, that's dangerous what this boy here talking about, man. That's dangerous what that boy there talking about, man. Because, boy, that's somebody's life you talking about. See, it ain't real to you because y'all don't look at the word in this aspect that this your life we talking about, my G. This ain't no black power movement, nigga. This ain't no raise the fist black power. You damn fool. You got to stand before the throne of God one day. Well, your life literally on the line, man. What is you talking about? This ain't no game. Niggas think this a game. This ain't no game. Boy, your life is on the line. Your life is literally on the line. This ain't no game. That's why a lot of people hate the Lord, because they don't want to answer for the bull wrinkle junk they've been out here doing with impunity and think that you ain't going to answer for it. You sadly mistaken. Ecclesiastes 7:25. You trying to do all that? All you need is that Robitussin. That's all you need. Just a little bit of tussin. You don't need no doggone apple cider vinegar. Just get you some tussin. Now, I ain't asked you about none of that. All you need is that tussin. That quill. That night quill.
Wisdom.
Seek out what?
Wisdom. And the reason. And to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness, madness. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart snares and nets, her hands bands. Whoso please Elohim shall escape from her.
But the sinner
shall be taken by her. Behold, this have I found.
What you found, Solomon?
One by one to find out the account.
To find out the who?
The account.
What you found out, Solomon?
Which yet my soul seek, but I find not.
I ain't found nobody.
One man among 1,000 have I found. But a woman among all those have I not found.
Boy, Solomon said he ain't found a woman. I don't even see how you niggas sit down and listen to a woman teach the word. I don't even see how you do that. You know what I'm talking about? If the wisest man walking the earth before the Lord stepped foot on it, say, I only found one man and a woman, I ain't found none. I don't know how y'all niggas sit down and listen to a woman teach the word. That don't even make no sense. Go ahead.
Lo, this only have I found, that Elohim have made man upright.
He made man what?
Upright.
He made man what?
Upright.
What else after that?
But they have sought out many inventions.
So that means Adam was made upright. That means he wasn't no sinner. That's why that tree of knowledge and evil, good and evil, wasn't for him. He wasn't no sinner. He ain't needed. What he needed it for. Come on, man. Get in Romans 7 just so they can know that tree of the law. And this for the people on here who don't know what we talking about. They ain't never heard it. But, you know, for those of you who heard it, y'all know what it is. It just confirming it more and more. Romans 7:7.
What shall we say then? The law sin?
Is the law sin?
Elohim forbid.
God said no. Did he say that tree in that garden was sin? He just said it was sin if they touched it. Not that it was sin. Go ahead.
Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law.
I had not known sin, but by the what?
By the law.
Adam and Eve did no sin till they ate from that tree. It said the knowledge of good and evil. Well, what you think the knowledge of evil is? It's the knowledge of sin, boy. What's wrong with us? And I'm not being disrespectful, man. But I just want y'all to sit back and ask yourself, bump your Christian teachers, why your Hebrew teacher can't told you this? Why he don't know this? Why this nigga can tell you who Esau is and this a Moabite and all this other stuff, but he can't tell you that? He got you wondering what type of tree this is. He got you around here thinking this woman had sex with the devil. That's what these stupid niggas be out here teaching. Why in the hell would Satan have sex with this woman for? Go ahead, man. Shalom, Nate.
For I had not known lust, except the law has said, you shall not covet.
That's right.
But sin, taking occasion by the commandment,
It did what?
Wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. Without the sin, or without the law, sin dead.
Without the law, sin was what?
Dead.
So when they ain't had no law, was sin dead? They was alive. Listen to what he say.
For I was alive without the law. Lord.
I was a what?
Alive without the
I
law.
was what?
Alive.
Was not Adam alive without the law? But guess what? Listen to what Paul say.
But when the commandment came,
and I did what?
Sin revived.
And it did what?
And I died.
And he died. As soon as he came and broke that commandment, they did what? They died. That's what the book means when he say that we are not under the law. That's what he talking about, man. This ain't got nothing to do with you. Ain't got to keep the instructions. You got Hebrews who be so quick to teach the 2D Christians wrong, and they mess that up. See, not under the law, it's the sacrificial law. Slap yourself with the same damn lamb you trying to sacrifice, you jackass. You don't know what the hell you talking about. Shut your mouth. This ain't talking about no damn sacrificial law. That's right, brother. The penalty is sin and death. That's all he talking about. That's it. When you are not under the law, you're not under the penalty of sin. You know why? Because you would be just like Adam. You would be alive without the law because you're not a sinner. So that means when you're not a sinner, but if we just read in Jeremiah 31, where he say he put the law at? And in your mind, and you're gonna take his instructions and do what? Keep them. Which means you will be with what? Without the law, because you wouldn't be no sinner. So therefore, you wouldn't die. You'd be alive. This is common sense. It's not difficult to understand. The book is not difficult to understand. It's very simplistic to understand. This is not a complex book. It's deep mysteries in it. As far as that is concerned, it's talking about the deep secrets of God, but it is not a complex word that is difficult to understand. Men make it difficult to understand. It's very simple concepts. You just got jackasses who don't know what they're talking about. So then they're going to give you bad information. And because you believe that it's correct information, through no fault of your own, because if you didn't know no better, and this is what they taught you, then you're going to spread that bad information to others, thinking that you're going to the good deed. But as far as you who is concerned, he's going to kill the person who heard you, and the person who told you, and the person who told them. Because he ain't going to care about, well, this person didn't know what they were talking about. He's going to take everybody out. Because as far as he's concerned is, you should have knew. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't going to pull you to the side and say, I'm going to straighten you out later. Nah, he's going to like, you should have knew, or you should have kept your mouth closed. Because he said you're going to give account for every word that come out your mouth. So if you spoke wrong, you got to answer for that. It's better to keep your mouth closed and say nothing than to open your mouth and speak wrong. When it comes to the word, it's better for you to keep your mouth closed than to open your mouth and speak wrong. Because you can't be held to task for what you ain't say, but you're going to be held to task for what you did say, and you can't speak in this man's name. Because you can't, because guess what? When you stand before that man's throne, all that, oh, I wasn't a teacher, I wasn't teaching, I wasn't doing, he don't want to hear none of that. You spoke in my name, though. You declared things in my name, though. I'm going to have to come holler at you about that. Cross-reference it to make sure what you said was correct. And just so you know that I'm not pulling that out my butthole, give me Romans 3:1. And Muffin, while you at it, get that fruit punch and put it in this cup.
What advantage then had the Yahudim, or what profit of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of Elohim. Mm-hmm. For what if some did not believe? Should that make the faith of Elohim of none effect? Elohim forbid. God said no. Yea, let Elohim be true. Let who? Elohim be and true. And every man? A liar. So, of course, you know that's Numbers 23 and 19. Elohim is not a man that he should lie. That's why he said that. If you know the book, you know that. Come on. As it is written. As it is what? Written. What it say? That you might be justified in your sin. That you might be righteous in what you say. And might overcome when you are judged. The only way you're going to be overcome when you judge is if you're righteous in what you say and righteous in what you do. If you ain't righteous in what you say, boy, you're going to have to answer for that. You're going to have to give account. I ain't saying that to disrespect nobody. I'm saying that so you can know. Because ain't nobody telling us this. You got Hebrews out here telling you every Hebrew man is supposed to go out here and teach the word. But this book don't say that. Stop telling people that. Just because you know you an Israelite don't mean you're supposed to be teaching nobody. Stop telling people that. That's dangerous.
That's dangerous. Not dangerous just for the people who gonna hear the person. It's dangerous for the person you telling to go do that, and they ain't been trained for that vocation, and this man ain't sent them. Come on, man. 1 Timothy 1:7.
Desiring to be teachers of the law, understanding neither what they say nor whereof they affirm.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man,
Who is for?
but for the lawless and disobedient.
Was Adam lawless? Was Adam disobedient? No. What else?
For the ungodly and for sinners.
Was he an ungodly man? Was he a sinner? No.
For unholy and profane.
For who?
Unholy and profane.
Go ahead.
For murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers.
Was Adam a murderer? No. For who else?
Manslayers. From whoremongers.
Was this man a whoremonger? Y'all know what a whoremonger is too, right? I heard a brother talking about this the other day, and we didn't talk about this before. You got two things, right? Because you remember the law say you ain't supposed to bring a price of a whore into the house of God, right? You know what that means? Well, if you don't know what that means, in ancient pagan societies, I don't want to say pagan society, in ancient civilizations of people who did not serve the living Elohim, Yahuwah of hosts is his name, they would have male and female temple prostitutes who people would come in and trick with in service to whatever false deity that is that they worship. So then some of these people would come and try to bring the price of a whore who they had tricked with into the temple of Elohim and use that for a sacrifice, or use that as an offering, I should say. You know what I'm talking about? So Yahuwah was like, here, don't bring that whole money in here because I don't want it. You know what I'm talking about? So it's a lot of people who go to regular church, and guess what? She may be a stripper. She may be a prostitute. He may be a stripper. He may be a prostitute. He may be a drug dealer. Whatever the case may be, even though that's not the price of a whore. Either way it go, it's money that has been achieved by ill-gotten means. That man don't want your money. You know what I'm saying? You keep that to yourself. See, some people feel like since I've been sinning, at least I can do it time. Boy, that man don't want your money. Didn't we read earlier in Proverbs 15, the sacrifice of the wicked or an abomination? That man don't want your stuff. He said the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. He said even more if they bring it with a wicked mind. He said, boy, you keep that. I don't want it. That's right. That's filthy lucre. You seen what the chief priest did. We were talking about it a couple weeks ago with Judas $250. Oh, they say, oh, no, we can't put that with the treasury. That's blood money. They had enough sense to know God don't want this.
Ain't no good.
That ain't no good. We can't take this. See, a lot of people don't realize that. Man, you can't be out here popping your booty cheeks out here on these streets and bring that money in the house of God and think the Lord going to look at that and be like, yeah, that's cool. He don't want it. He don't want it. Just because your elders or mores or pastors or, you know what I'm saying, whatever they call themselves, apostles, whatever the case may be, just because they'll take it don't mean God took it. See, a man will take anything. God don't take anything. He showed you that with Cain. He said, man, I don't want this. What you bringing me this for? See, you know what y'all so you to? You've been taught as a construct that if somebody give you a gift, you should be appreciative of the gift, even if you don't want it. Even if it's not acceptable, you should just smile and say thank you. Yahuwah don't do that. Yahuwah gonna look at you dead in the face. That's an abomination to me. I don't know why you brought me that. That's why Cain face fair. If you bought a gift for somebody and they told you they didn't like it, you'd be upset with me.
That's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts. Sister Kelly said the church say pray over it first. You can pray over it, you can dance over it, you can sing to it. You know what I'm saying? You do whatever you want to. The Lord still gonna be like, nah, nigga. See, I'm different. You buy me something, I be like, I appreciate the gift. I don't want that though. My cousin got upset. That nigga know I don't wear no turtlenecks. That nigga bought me a turtleneck sweater. You bought me a turtleneck sweater because your dude wear a turtleneck sweater. So you felt like that I should wear one too. But you know I don't wear that. And I told her I appreciate this, but I ain't gonna wear this. Because I don't wear no turtlenecks. Never had, never will. Not my thing. I ain't knocking nobody who do. I ain't wearing it. You know what I'm saying? Now, see, it's different. Say Nail, say Little Muffin. I'll grade the Deidres at that point. Like, if you know me, you gonna know, boy. You gonna know what he already like, or you gonna ask first. See, some people don't want to. That ruins the surprise. But they like this here. I don't know where's my money.
To be honest, I'd rather you tell me you don't like it, so we can get something you like. And say I like it, and you don't wear it.
No, cause I ain't wear it. I promise you that. And I'm gonna tell you I ain't gonna wear it because I don't want you to be like, that nigga ain't never wore what I bought. You're gonna be upset. But hey, I told you beforehand. But they said, man, I'm gonna get you a Ralph Lauren. Now see, nigga, no, I wear polo. I ain't gonna turn that down. I don't know. There's some of them polo shirts be ugly. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been one of them dudes. The big horse, no. I like my understated. I don't need no big old man on no horseback. You know what I'm saying? Look at your boy. Get you a nice messenger bag. Nigga said, you sure this nigga last night, he talking about you bring a message, so you need a messenger bag. That nigga talking about he got a messenger bag. He ain't had no Bible in it. Talking about he got important things in there. That bag was flat. That nigga ain't had nothing in there. He didn't want to walk around with a messenger bag so he could make somebody think he was important. I got important stuff, and he ain't have a laptop in there. No, he did. He ain't had no laptop in there. That wasn't nothing but a folder. That's all that was. That wasn't no laptop in there. You know what I'm saying? He just wanted to walk around. Look at it here. I got a messenger bag. Nigga ain't got no bicycle. Nigga ain't making no deliveries. What you got a messenger bag for? You ain't dropping nothing, no. There said the message coming from the heart. No bag needed. You heard that, Lil Donnie? No bag needed. He didn't want to feel bad about himself because he was carrying that purse. Come on, verse 10, man.
For whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons.
And if there be anything
that is contrary to sound doctrine.
Man, Adam wasn't none of those things. He wasn't none of those things. Let's come back to Genesis chapter 3. So when I was in Genesis 3, right, I read verse 5. I'm going to read it again. Elohim do know that in the day that you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, a tree desired to make wise, you can go read Deuteronomy chapter 4 when they tell you that this law is your wisdom in the sight of the nations. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband, and with her did eat. Now, of course, you know, fruit is pere. Give him the definition of pere, if you would. I think I mentioned y'all the old video from the Jesus from True Freedom channel, where we also discussed the fruit, the good seed, the bad seed, and the fruit thereof, and things of that nature.
Produce of the ground, fruit, offspring, children, progeny of the womb.
Produce.
Reward.
So the reward. So this is the produce of what this tree produces. It produces wisdom, but it also produces death. Because when you break it, you die. Why? What did Paul say? He said that which is ordained to life to me, has it become death? Because it's supposed to give you life if you keep it, but the minute you break it, you die. So it can't give you that. That's why he said that you could be justified by the things that you couldn't be justified by of Moses, because the law was not of faith, therefore it couldn't produce life. That's all that means. It's all that means. And that's what these two trees in the garden are representing. That's why they're both in the midst. Law and faith both in the midst, because Yahuwah is both. It's very simple. It's not difficult to understand. You know what I'm talking about? Now, let's come over here to Luke. Hold on. It's something in Psalms 119. Let's hit this one. Psalms 119 says it. You can pick it up at verse 17. Now, Psalms 119 and 17 is dealing with the letter Gamal. If you know what Gamal is, that's dealing with a what? A messenger, or what? A pathway, a way, a foot. Psalms 119 and verse 17.
Deal bountifully with your servant, that I may live.
That you may what?
Live.
Tell them what bountifully means.
That's Gamal, to deal fully with, to recompense.
To deal fully with me that I might live.
To benefit or requite, to ripen.
To become good fruit. Let's look at verse 18. Look at what verse 18 says, Psalms 119.
Open you my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of your law.
Open your eyes so that you could do what?
Behold wondrous things out of your law.
Now we're going to see how that works. They behold, see, when they open their eyes, if they behold wondrous things, they beheld shame. Let's continue. Verse 19.
I, a stranger in the earth, hide not your commandments from me.
Verse 20.
My soul break for the longing unto your judgments at all times.
21.
You have rebuked the proud curse, which do err from your commandments.
Remove.
From me reproach and contempt.
I've kept
your testimonies.
princes.
Also did sit and speak against me.
Your servant.
Did meditate in your statutes.
And your testimonies.
Also my delight.
And what are they? Tell them what counselors is.
They saw as counsel, advice, or purpose.
So he said that not only that, your word gives me my counsel and my purpose. Now I'm gonna deal with this one here, man. I want you to come to Acts 22, and then I'm gonna come to Luke 24. And then we're gonna move on from this particular matter. Acts chapter 22 and then verse 7. Acts 22 and 7.
And I fell into the ground.
I got it. And I fell into the ground and heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why persecute you me? And I answered and said, who are you, Lord? And he said to me, I'm Yahushua Nazareth, whom you persecute. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid. But they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. And I said, what shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said unto me, arise and go into Damascus, and there it shall be told of you all things which should be appointed for you to do. And when I could not see for the esteem of that light, being led by the hand of them that were with me, I came to Damascus. And when Ananias, a devout man, according to the law, having a good report of all the Yahudim which dwelt, came unto me and stood and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive your sight. In the same hour I looked upon him. And he said, the Elohim of our fathers have chosen you, that you should know his will, and see that just one, and you shall hear the voice of his mouth. For you shall be his witness unto all men of what you have seen and heard. And why wait you? Arise and be immersed and wash away your sins, calling on the name of the Lord. So we come to this one here, right? Because he was able to behold wondrous things out of his law. That's why he could see that just one. So when we come back over here to Luke 24, because we're talking about why the apostles' eyes were open as a similitude of what occurred with Adam and Eve when their eyes were open in the reverse. Because Adam and Eve got the knowledge of good and evil. The apostles got the knowledge of the tree of life. And this is why their eyes were open. Matter of fact, we didn't finish in Ezekiel 47:12. Go ahead back to that. Ezekiel 47:12. And then after that, we will come back to Luke chapter 24, verse 25. And then this matter be complete. And for those who don't know, I took the time to do this here because I mentioned this last night. We hit it real quick. You know what I'm saying? We ain't give it a lot of time. So right now we giving it the time that it deserves so that you can understand clearly and plainly why we said what we said last night. You know what I'm saying? So Ezekiel 47:12.
And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat.
All trees for meat.
Whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall
that leaf will never be foolish.
Shall the fruit thereof be consumed? It shall bring forth new fruit.
Tell him what consume means.
To be complete, be finished, be at an end.
So this fruit will never stop. You see how a good heart is a continual feast? The fruit from this tree will never stop. See, pause. Now I got to go ahead and do it. Give me Ephesians 5, man, and 21. Hey, y'all, let's leave. Ephesians 5 and 21.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of Elohim.
I'm in the wrong place. Galatians 5 and 21. My apologies. Galatians 5 and 21.
Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim.
Yeah, we don't care about that. Go ahead.
But the fruit of the Ruach is love.
The fruit of the Ruach is what?
Love.
The fruit of the Ruach is what?
Joy.
Hold on, it's love. So this is what the produce of the Ruach is this. The Ruach comes from the seed, which is the word. He that believe on him, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. He that have a good heart or a told lev, he that has a merry heart has a continual feast. That's what we read, right? They have a continual feast or continual food, a continual drink. So the produce, see, if they would have ate from the tree of life, this is what they would have gotten. See, when they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and they seen that which is evil, that stirred the motions up of what's the works of the flesh. Now your covetousness and all this other stuff gets stirred up because now you know. Did he say I would have known covetousness unless I would have seen the Lord? If you didn't know not to covet, do you think covetousness would have stirred up in your flesh? You would have had no knowledge of it. You see how you know this, man? Remember, it said they were naked and they weren't what? So they had no knowledge of this, so this is not going to be stirred up within them. So the fruit of the Ruach is what?
Love,
joy,
peace, long-suffering, gentleness,
goodness, meekness,
faith, temperance.
Against such,
there is no law.
So this means since there is no law, you can't die for it. So guess what this means? This is continual fruit that is produced over and over and over and over and over again. Yahuwah is never going to come to you and say, stop loving. Is he going to come to you and say, stop having self-control? Stop being long-suffering. You know why? We've talked about this before. All these attributes are the attributes that's declared in Exodus 34, ain't it? And what did we mention earlier in Deuteronomy 32? Yahuwah said he lift up his right hand and he said he do what? Live forever. So these are the continual things that Yahuwah produces every single solitary day. It never stops. It's been from the time that eternity has been going, which means there's no time limit we can stop because Yahuwah has no limit of time. Time is not a construct that Yahuwah is beholden to because he is eternity. So you got to understand that this is continual flowing. It doesn't stop. So that's why I say the fruit is not consumed. It's never complete. It never stops. So when he that believe on him, as the scripture has said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. The water will never stop flowing because you'll never stop loving. You'll never stop having peace. You'll never stop having joy. You'll never stop having long suffering. Never stop having gentleness, goodness, meekness, and self-control. That's not going to stop. It is continual, as Elohim is continual. Very simple to understand. You know what I'm talking about? So when you see this, this is how you can begin the process to know God. And you know God by believing on him, as the scripture has said, and then you will manifest him in you because his word is in you. Ain't that what Jeremiah 31 said? Okay. That's good. We don't need none of that. Come on back to Ezekiel 47. Oh, you were still in Ezekiel 47? No, you was in Galatians. Come back to Ezekiel 47. If you finish 12, go to 13. Matter of fact, just read 12 one more time.
And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat, whose leaf shall not fade. Neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary. And the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine.
So the fruit thereof shall be for food, and the leaf for healing. Go ahead and give him Revelation 22:1. I know it's redundant.
And he showed me a pure river, a water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, the tree of life, which bare 12 fruits, yielded her fruit every month.
Every month.
And when the leaves of the tree for the healing of the nations.
That's for the healing of the nations.
And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb shall be in it.
Pause. It said there'll be no more what?
Curse.
No more what?
Curse.
Pause. Now, when the tree of knowledge and good and evil was there, what happened to Adam? When they took from that tree, what happened to him? Not only that, he cursed them. He cursed them. But now when he say the tree of life is in the midst, guess what he said? There's no more what?
Curse.
That means ain't no more death. And you know why it ain't no more death? Because it ain't no more sin. And you know why it ain't no sin? Because heaven and earth passed. And when heaven and earth passed, that means the law is passed. That means every single solitary person who's standing in that kingdom got that man word in them and don't commit sin. There's no need for the law because everybody is not a sinner. Everybody righteous. That's what Isaiah 4 tell you. See, when you got your little horn dog wee-wee niggas who want to read, I see, I'm going to get 7 women. The one man, shut your stoop behind. I ain't talking about you, nigga. You's a jackass if you think they're talking about you. 7 women don't like you now. Isaiah 4:1 on general principle. And I ain't saying that to be funny. You got nigga talking about, boy, you know you got to be a desperate, rotten man that you looking for catastrophic destruction in order for 7 women to like you. That means you ain't got, everybody been, I was talking to my homegirl about this here right earlier on Facebook because she was going hard. Like, why they calling Michael B. Jordan corny? You know that nigga corny. You can look at him and tell he corny. You know how we know he corny? Because he was still talking to this woman about how she called him corny in high school. You just showed yourself. Nigga, you Michael B. Jordan, nigga. She's showing up to come talk to you about a movie you directed and starred in. Why you give a damn what she said about you when you were 15, man? You got to be a goofy nigga to bring that up. Nigga, I'm Michael B. Jordan, nigga. I'm not finna come back to you. I remember when you called me corny when I was 14. Oh, you came to see me. I ain't coming to see you. That's how you know he was corny. And a lot of these dudes who be talking about this stuff, man, they be corny. Any righteous man ain't sitting to my, yeah, boy, when all the men get to dying and all that destruction coming, you gonna come to me talking about, hey, man, I just want to be called by your name. That means you couldn't get 7 women right now, bro. You need men to die for you to get 7 women. You's a goofy and a weirdo. If you need men to die to get attention from women, you don't need no women, man. You got bigger problems. You have bigger problems. And I'm not, I know I'm not trying to be funny. I'm dead serious. Like, sit there and pause that for a minute. Because some of y'all done heard these brews say that. See, he gonna make a man more precious than a wedge of gold or Ophir. And y'all gonna come to us then. You looking for men to die so you can get women. So I'm saying that for you ladies, that if you hear a nigga talking like that, don't you give your vagina to that man. You better run away. You better not give him the time of day. And if you do, and it goes sour, you deserve everything you get because you're stupid. You know what I'm talking about? Because that should click in your brain. This man say he need niggas to die to get him a woman. He need niggas to die. Do you understand how sad and pathetic that is? I mean, you the bottom of the barrel type of dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Get your pimping up, man. Tighten up on your backstroke. Isaiah 4:1, listen to it.
In another day, 7 women shall take hold of 1 man.
And what shall they do?
Will we eat our own bread and wear our own apparel?
Let us be
called by your name.
That you might
take away our reproach.
Let me tell y'all ladies something, man, just in case you don't know. And for the goofy niggas in their heart, come out, nigga, he simping. Your daddy was a simp and your granddaddy was a buster, nigga. Because if you think you can take a woman dishonor away, you fool, boy. The reproaches of them that reproached me, they fell on me. That's what the book say. You can't take away nobody's sin. The book say sin is a reproach to any people. You marrying a woman ain't taking away her reproach. How you taking away her dishonor? It's not dishonorable for a woman to be unmarried. It's just dishonorable for her to play the harlot. That's what's dishonorable. Let that be known. You know what I'm talking about? If that woman is unmarried, where she dishonored herself at? If she ain't having no sexual intercourse with no man, how is she dishonored because she ain't got no husband? You read that in the book anywhere? Because I don't read it nowhere where a woman is dishonorable because she ain't got no husband. She would be dishonorable if she playing the harlot. You know what I'm talking about? That's what's dishonorable. You can't take no dishonor away from nobody. Boy, you don't. They're talking about the 7 synagogues in Asia in Revelation, man, coming in the Mashiach. Then the book say that we all called by the name of Hamashiach, same way you called by the name Adam, and he said he made them male and female and called their name Adam. Hell wrong with you. That's what's wrong with us now. You think the book talking about you. Running around here talking about you going to get 7 women. But you ain't going to get them till everybody die. You ain't no pimp. You's a rest haven for hoes, nigga. That's what you is. Something wrong with you, boy. Come on, man.
In that day shall the branch of Yahuwah be beautiful and esteemed.
In that day, the branch of Yahuwah shall be what?
Beautiful and esteemed.
Mm-hmm.
And the fruit of the earth, excellent and comely.
The fruit of the who?
Of the earth.
Shall be what?
Excellent and comely.
So for those of you know, that's those who resurrect from the dead. You know, the first fruits of them that slept. Come on.
For them that are escaped the Yasharal.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass.
What's going to happen?
Left in Zion and remain in Jerusalem shall be called Kadash.
Everybody that's left in Jerusalem going to be called what?
Kadash.
Set apart. What else?
Everyone that is written among the living.
That's mean everybody who named in the book of life. The Lamb's book of life. Hell wrong with these niggas, man. Come on, man.
When Yahuwah shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion.
By what?
Shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the Ruach of judgment.
And what?
The Ruach of burning.
Burning. Man, the Ruach of what?
Judgment.
And the Ruach of what?
Burning.
Don't Isaiah 66 say he coming with a sword and with fire and will plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahuwah shall be many? Don't you understand that Jerusalem is defiled because you defiled it with his blood? He got to come through with fire and purge it, man. What's wrong with y'all? And I ain't talking about y'all specifically. I'm talking about the jackasses who teach improperly. Continue.
And Yahuwah will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day and a shining of a flaming fire by night. For upon all the esteem, a defense.
Just like it was when you were in the wilderness, meaning he's going to be a hedge of protection for this people after he delivers you, which is why Gog and Magog is not even able to come near you when they up to make battle with you and he destroyed them and you don't lift a finger. Because this Isaiah 4:1 is dealing with your deliverance. Not with no dude getting no 7 women, man. You want 7 women, man, that's your business. I don't care. But stop using that passage to say that's why you're going to get them. You broke bastard Jew. Nigga ain't got enough money to take care of one part, much less 7. Because see, this is what he do be doing. And there's some brothers, they got their wives up under their roof. So I ain't, hey, at least you're doing it the way it's supposed to be done. Man, you can't have multiple wives, boy, and you don't take care of them. I ain't necessarily say they all got to be under your roof, but you got to take care of them. That's how that goes. That's what the law say to do. Ain't that what it say? She can't be living in it. That ain't your wife. That's a chick you hitting, boy. Just keep it above. If you taking care of them, hey, man, that's on you. You know what I'm talking about? But, boy, you got to be taken care of, man. I ain't saying they all got to live with you. You know what I'm saying? But you got to take care of them. Because, them times, everybody didn't live under the same roof and sleep in the same bed and all that type of stuff. I done told you that before. You can look it up historically. That's a new thing in the earth with men and women sharing the bed. Because you do know, even in non-Israelite cultures, just the fact that y'all was on your period, that was something that was abhorrent to most men. And they did not want to lay in the bed with you or even share the same room with you if in the event that your cycle would begin. And now you got nasty niggas talking about they won red lights and proud of it. I remember that was a shame to be known that you would have sex with a woman on her menstrual cycle. Now these niggas, I'm gonna lay the towel on the bed. You's a nasty nigga. That means that you don't even have no control over your desires, that you can't wait for this woman to exit out of an unclean state, that you willing to let menstrual blood be all on top of your body just for a little bit of pleasure. There's something wrong with you. That's not normal. That junk ain't cool. That ain't no flex. It's something wrong with you mentally. Bump spiritually. It's something mentally wrong with you as a man. Because I know a woman, if you with it, she'll go ahead and roll with it. So a lot of them will for the most part. Bump, that's what he want to do. Now you got some women, they wouldn't give a damn. Oh, no, nigga. Get your nasty behind away from me. Now she looking at you funny because she's like, oh, this nigga's nasty. You know what I'm talking about? But you got some women, they don't care. She just as nasty as you is. Because that's nasty. It's just something, come on, draw the line, bro. 7 days, bro. Draw the line, man. Don't do your time like that. That's what they used to say when you was in prison, man. You in jail. You doing something stupid. They be like, man, don't do your time like that. Don't do your time under heaven like that, man. It ain't that serious, man. Ain't that much pleasure in the world, man. Come on over to Luke 24 and 20 and 25. I got it. Ain't that much pleasure in the world. Oh, man. I think I need to, I give you 21. Luke 24 and 21. But we trusted it had been he. Hold on, y'all. But we trusted it had been he which should have redeemed Yasharal. And besides all this, today is the 3rd day since these things were done. Oh, man, little kid done died in the pond over here, man. Woo!
Oh, this one?
I would have said that. What that notification just said. 2-year-old found unresponsive in Westside Jacksonville Pond. Dies. Homicide unit investigating. Yea, and certain women also of our company made us astonished, which were early at the sepulchre. And when they found out his body, they came saying that they had seen a vision of Malachim and said that he was alive. Certain of them which were with us went to the sepulchre and found even so as the women had said, but him they saw not. Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all. Oh, man, he said, just making your time hard. I'm telling you, boy. I don't know. Civic don't know about firsthand experience. But you got people who do time. They didn't make their time hard. You might know it just as a CEO. You're like, look at this nigga. You're making your time hard. You know, when you in it, because let's just keep it real, right? Let's pause, right? Let's be in dead serious, right? We strangers and pilgrims on the earth, right? And we're in a land that our fathers knew not, so that we could be ruled over a people that is not us. So no matter what we do, let me tell you something, man. Because none of y'all ain't never been to prison. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all ain't never been to jail. When you go to jail, them people tell you that this they house. And you won't come in their house and set it up to make yourself comfortable in that in which they rule over. And at any time, they will come through and destroy whatever you have built to make your life comfortable in the place that they control. So when you look at our people, right, we are basically, you in jail, you in prison, whether you in America, whether you go to Africa, whether you go to China, whether you go to Europe, you're in jail. You know why you're in jail? Because you do not run and control anything. And no matter what you set up, you got to answer to the ruling class of that land. You don't have autonomy to live and do what you want to do because that's how Yahuwah made it. And he literally told you that we will not be delivered until he does what? What is the thing that he said that has to be done before this people is saved? Huh? Destroy who? No. No, that ain't what he said. Come on, Civic. Daniel chapter 12, verse 5. No. Before these people get saved, this what's got to happen. Daniel 12 and 5, listen to it.
Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on this side of the bank of the river. And said to the man clothed in linen, which upon the waters of the river, how long to the end of these wonders?
It'll be a time.
And I heard the man which clothed in linen was upon the waters of the river when he held up his right hand.
He held up his what?
His right hand.
And did what?
And his left hand on the Shamahim, and swear by him that lived
Boy,
forever.
he's swearing by Yahuwah. I want y'all to understand something. This Malachim is swearing by Yahuwah about what he finna say. Listen to him.
For a time, times and a half, and when he shall have accomplished.
When he shall have what?
Accomplished.
To do what?
To scatter the power of the Kadash people.
Then
all these shall be finished.
Well, this thing not going to be over with till he accomplished to scatter our power. So I don't care what you seek to do. That man tearing it down. Until you humble yourself and fall to your knees and acknowledge that he is the living God and you repent from your sins and you come back to him. I don't care how many hospitals we build. I don't care how many banks you make. I don't care how much money you got going on. That man is tearing it all down. And that Malachim swore by heaven, that's what's going down. Now you can take it and you can feel however you want to feel. Read it again. That's what the book say. That ain't what I say.
And I heard the man clothed in linen, which upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand on the Shamahim, and swear by him that lived forever.
He swore by who?
Him that lived forever.
He swore by who?
Him that lived forever.
Who lived forever, y'all? Yahuwah. Go ahead.
That for a time, times and a half, and when he shall accomplish to scatter the power of the Kadash people,
then
all these shall be finished.
So guess what, y'all? And this is no disrespect, because I understand. I told y'all before, I was with all that before I learned the word, boy. Nothing we build is going to stand. Well, you behind enemy lines, man. You think this man going to allow you to build the autonomous society amongst these people? You smoking rocks. Because that Malachim just swore by him who lived forever that that's not happening. I know it's a hard pill to swallow. That's right. And Egypt told the truth. Black Wall Street go right along with it. It will be content. Everything we do to seek where you build your, he gonna tear it down. See, the white people don't want you to come up. No, Yahuwah don't want you to come up. He just using them to facilitate it. Now, don't get it twisted. That in their heart, why they did it, that was them. Yahuwah just maximizing what's in their heart to accomplish what he wants to be accomplished. Let me ask you, son, were you ever on the rise in Egypt? Where you was autonomous? Were you autonomous in Babylon? No. So what in the hell make you think you finna do that here? You know why? Because if you get to that level, the esteem ain't gonna be to you. Who is gonna be to yourself? This is no disrespect, because I know it's a lot of brothers all across the country want to do a lot of things. I don't knock them for it. I feel them. I know why they want to do it. I know where they hard at. I understand. But I know what that book say, boy. And I know that I'm not even finna put my hand to that. It'd be better for us to just build up and look out for one another to make our lives peaceful as possible till we slide from up out here. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. I'm a stranger here. I ain't trying to set no foothold in this raggedy behind place. I ain't trying. Why would I gonna try to do something in a God-forsaken place? Yahuwah ain't here. I'm a stranger and a pilgrim on the earth. I desire a country and a city where its builder and maker is Elohim. I don't care about these people's stuff, man. I don't want their money. I don't want none of their stuff. Man, we do this stuff because we men and we want to be able to build and be able to challenge ourselves to do certain things. But don't get it twisted. I told y'all this the other night, and I mean what I say. Yeah, nigga, get out here and hustle, man. But deep down in my soul, I don't give a damn about these people's money, man. I ain't telling you no lie. I don't care nothing about these people's stuff. I don't care nothing about their system. I don't care nothing about their politics. I don't care about nothing they got going on. I do not care. Them center problems, them center issues, them center things that ain't got nothing to do with me. So I'm not concerned with it. I don't keep up with it. I do not care. I'm not one of them niggas, we got to keep knowing the code of current events to know prophecy. Sit your simple behind down somewhere, Simple Simon. I don't need to know no current events about no prophecy, boy. We know prophecy because we know Mashiach, because the testimony of Yahushua is the Ruach of prophecy. I don't need to watch what these people got going on. I don't care what them sinners. I ain't keeping up with no damn sinners. Did he ever tell you to watch sinners? Not watching no sinners. Oh, I know it's getting close now. Boy, look here, man. If you think it's getting close because you see America getting destroyed, you don't know the word. Boy, he coming to humble you. You the one need humbling, boy. These sinners don't need no humbling because they gonna buck. You need the humbling because you ain't returned to your God with your whole heart, your whole soul, and your whole mind. You ain't done that. You ain't came to your first love. You ain't remember, you still got things remaining that's left to die. You ain't killed everything in you that's contrary to God. And you worry about the destruction of America. You better destroy that flesh. You better destroy them lusts. You better destroy that evil heart of unbelief. That's what you better do. Or you dying right along with them. That's right. And he did mention in this assembly shall know that Yahuwah saved not with the sword and the spear, the battles of Yahuwah, he will give you into our hands. And he told you, not by might, nor by flesh, but by my Ruach, saith Yahuwah. Give him Deuteronomy 32, man, verse 39. Listen to it one more time. I tell y'all this all the time so your heart can be prepared so you don't be disappointed and turn against God. If you want to do some things for your people, man, go on and do them. But just always have it in your heart and your mind. If in Yahuwah's will, let this come to pass that I may be able to facilitate these things for the righteous. You know what I'm saying? And that our time sojourning here amongst these wicked people may be done peacefully. But if you think you're going to build something up separate of them in your punishment, you's a fool. You lying to yourself because it's not happening. He is going to destroy it. Let me ask y'all a question, right? Do you think our people are just really just that stupid and unintelligent that they wouldn't be able to build certain things if they put their mind to it? Of course they could. Of course they would. Who you think stopping you? It's not Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie ain't got that kind of power. Stop giving Mr. Charlie that much credit. It's Yahuwah that's stopping you from doing it. Because he know the minute you do it, you won't return to him. He know what you're going to do. You don't even realize him stopping you from doing the things that you want to do is to save your soul. What that Proverbs 30 say? Lest I become rich and what? Forget Yahuwah. If we were able to, just imagine, right, our people as a whole. Even the people, I'm talking about, I know all our people don't believe the word. Then we have to take that into account. Most of our people don't even believe the word and don't want nothing to do with it and have an extreme deep down hatred for Yahuwah, for all the things that our people have suffered in this present exile from him at this particular juncture in time that they're familiar with in these last 400 some odd years where you've been dealing in the Americas, if you would. I would say the Western Hemisphere, but I don't believe in hemispheres. So that's why I didn't say it. So you got to understand, it's a lot of black folks bitter and angry about that. If there was a God, why he let us go through this and go through that? They don't want to deal with this man. It's deep down. They really got a problem with him. So just imagine if we had our own banks and hospitals and police and all this other type of stuff that niggas be online talking about we should do, your own schools and all this, that, and the third. You think that would cause the people to come to Yahuwah or continually forsake him? Because they would look like we did all this and God didn't help. So why would I need to listen to this God you telling me to listen to? Look at all the stuff we did. Where was he at then? He wasn't here when they was killing us. He wasn't here when we built it. Well, you got to understand the minds of men. And you coming and talking about God coming to save us. We got our own stuff. We don't need no God. Yeah, I'm telling you. He got to tear that down. Deuteronomy 32 and 39, because you're not going to repent. Deuteronomy 32 and 39. That boy slacking on his maggot, man. He ain't up on his pimping. That boy limping on his pimping.
Seeing now that I, even I, am he, know Elohim with me, I kill and I make alive, I wound and I heal. Neither that can deliver out of my hand. For I lifted my hand.
Back it up. 35, what we need. Deuteronomy 32 and 35.
To me, vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in time.
Their foot will slide in time.
For the day of their calamity at hand.
It's near.
And the things that shall come upon them make haste.
That's right. It's coming quick.
For Yahuwah shall judge his people and repent himself for his servants. When he see their power is gone.
When he see their what?
That power is gone.
When he see their what?
Power is gone. And none shut up or left.
That man say, boy, he's not going to turn from what he doing to us until he see your power gone.
And he shall say.
That's good. Until he see your power gone. Is your power gone, right? Why you think the beast going to run amok? Your power definitely going to be gone then. You know your power ain't gone. We just were clowning about it. You got two black folks talking about their son is a girl. You got people out here doing all type of stuff. You got niggas excited. Look at Adidas. They had to take Kanye back. This, that, then the third. Your power ain't gone. You ain't humbled. You ain't humbled yourself. Oh, man. See, that's going to make people, I don't like him. Shoot, I don't like you either, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Your power's not gone. Truth be told, for most of y'all, just individually as a person, your power had to be gone for you to come to serve God as an individual. You understand that? All your strength that you had doing all the stuff you had going on, it had to be gone for you to actually humble yourself and cry out in desperation of spirit and ask for this man to deliver your soul. See, if you ain't got to the point where your power was gone as an individual, you ain't gonna never serve God out of earnesty and spirit and pureness of heart. It's not gonna happen. Because you ain't been humbled, you ain't been lowered enough to do it. You got to understand something. Boy, your maker, your king, your redeemer. We read it last night. He said he humbled himself even to the death of the stake. Ain't it what it said? And became obedient unto death. That man had to become low. His power had to be gone. If your maker became flesh and got lowered till his power was gone, I don't know why you think it's going to be any different for you. The audacity, not even the audacity, the negacity in your wicked heart to think that you're going to be able to get the same power and not go through the same humbling that your maker went through in order to give you them riches and power. Your power is not in that you're an Israelite. Let that be known. We already read it earlier. What advantage have the circumcision? That you got the oracles first. Your power is in your faith in your maker. That's where your power lie at. That's where the power of God is, not in your flesh. Give a damn because you know you light. It don't give you no power. Your power is in the faith in God. That's where the spirit comes from. And if you don't know that, I don't know what to tell you. Come on back over here to Luke, man. 24 and 25. I got it. Luke 24 and 25. Then he said unto them, O fools, slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not have a Mashiach to suffer these things, to enter into his esteem. And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And they draw nigh unto the village whither they went, and he made as though he would have gone further. But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is towards evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry with them. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread, baruched, and brake, and gave to them. And their eyes were open, and they what? They knew him. And he vanished out of their sight. Notice it said when their eyes were open, they knew him. Ain't that's what it said with Paul when his eyes were open, that he should see that he knew him. See, when Adam and Eve's eyes were open, they didn't know God. See, you don't get to know God through the law. You get to know him through faith. See, they knew him because he gave, ain't that what it said, right? That he expounded unto them and Moses and all the prophets the things concerning himself. He gave them the witness. That's how they knew him. They were walking with him the whole time and didn't recognize him. They didn't recognize him until the text was manifested unto him. You see the difference between the first time and the second time? Let Yahuwah be esteemed. One time the eyes were open, they didn't know God. The second time when the fruit's given unto them, they knew God. And that's what you need. That's why he say, open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of your law. See, when he opened your eyes to behold the wonders and miracles and signs, because that word is palah for wondrous in the Hebrew, and that's Psalms 119 and 18. That's when you see the witness of Yahushua and you can behold him and see him. And when you see him, that means you'll have a good lev, which means you'll have a continual feast. You'll have a Tob Leb to have a Tamid Misketh. That means you'll have a good heart to have a continual feast. It will never stop. The waters will never stop flowing. The fruit will never stop producing. It's continual. Amen, Sister Hill. That's what he said. Get it for him, said Genesis 18 and 17. See, this is the difference, right? And what each just mentioned, right? See, Yahuwah makes himself known unto us because he knew us, not that we knew him. He gives you an opportunity to know him. A lot of people turn it down. A lot of people turn it down. Like I told y'all the other day, I ain't no praise and worship leader. I'm not a lot of things. I'm just a preacher. And I don't try to be more than what I am. I am who I am. I do what it is that I do. I don't feel the need that I need to be like this dude or that dude, do what he doing or do what he doing. If that's what Yahuwah got put in those men's mind to do, well, all praise be to Yahuwah and let Yahuwah bring that to pass if it be his will. I got love for anybody who want to feel like they want to do what's right and do stuff to benefit other people. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. But I also understand that as a whole, our people, whether they in the word or not in the word, or we're not accomplishing anything of note. Oh, no, that's not happening. And I've accepted that. I'm cool with that. You know why I'm cool with it? Because it's not his will. See, I'm not going to get upset with Yahuwah because things that I desire to be done is not his will. If it's not his will, it's just not his will. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about as a whole. That don't mean if I know a brother over here who's trying to do this over here, that don't mean Yahuwah's not going to increase that. He's going to increase that for him to benefit other saints if that's Yahuwah's will. Let Yahuwah be esteemed. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? If Yahuwah let a group of brews build a hospital, pray be to Yahuwah if he let them bring them to pass. If he let them boy build a bank or get a whole bunch of land, they go to live on it and they growing this and growing that, because there's brothers out here who already got land living on it. You know what I'm talking about? We know some in Georgia who do it. We know some in Tennessee who do it. A couple people in Tennessee seem to be the place that they like to go do that at. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, they must got a lot of land for sale for cheap. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, I know a brother, he was just talking about it the other day. These boy got 100 acres. That's a lot of land. You know what I'm talking about? And if it be Yahuwah's will, hey man, I pray Yahuwah bring all to pass everything that they got designed to be able to be accomplished to benefit the saints in their area. You know what I'm talking about? But I know as a whole, oh no, these people not gonna be able to do none of that. I've been around too many niggas. I know what niggas gonna do. I'm just being honest with you. When I say niggas, I ain't talking about black people. I'm talking about people with the heart of a nigga. I know what they gonna do. They gonna say, Yahuwah who? Yahuwah where? What, when, and how? You got to know that. Niggas are rebellious. Niggas don't listen. Niggas don't obey. Niggas don't follow structure and order. Niggas are rebellious. He said, I knew you people have been stiff-necked from the day that I met you. Do you not understand this people been bucking this man from the time that he encountered you? You've been bucking. Why would you think it's different now? You think what you experienced in America was any more difficult than what they experienced in Egypt? Everything that we went through in Egypt is not written down in Exodus. Come on, man. You know them people were killing you because babies. That man's nigga sitting around. Give him something to do. Make him work. And the people was ready to go back for cucumbers, leeks, and melons. I don't know why you think it's different now. Oh, because we got knowledge. Man, man's heart is man's heart. Nevertheless, Genesis 8 and 17. This one right here. If you can get you a bottle, you need to get you a bottle. Will got him a bottle. The ladies like it. I bet Doris like it. Let Doris smell it. I bet she like it. That's what they like. They like fresh. Boop like it. She wear it all the time. That's why the bottle low. You know what it is. No, I don't.
What is it?
Oh, so you don't know what it is by looking at it.
I do.
No, I know you do.
I can't recognize it.
There you go, Brother Marvin. He said the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Your heart a lie to you, man. Some of y'all too young. But you know about Brad Jordan, don't you? You know who Brad Jordan is?
I never heard.
Disrespectful bastard. You know who Brad Jordan is, Doris? You know who Brad Jordan is, Leo? Boop, you know who Brad Jordan is? Y'all done heard of him. Who in here know who Brad Jordan is?
You might be the only one.
No, I ain't the only one.
Mom ain't said nothing.
She don't listen to rap music.
Oh, I thought she had names.
That's it. Each note, Scarface. That's his real name. Brad Jordan. And they had a song. Had Bushwick Bill on it. He was punching on the concrete. You know what song that is? Y'all, yeah, mighty young.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about? You say it was a couple crazed singers, or maybe this one here, you know what I'm saying? How he put it? He said at night he can't sleep, he tossing and turning. He still got candlesticks burning. Monte did it. Mind playing tricks on me. I said, it's before your time. Y'all pretty young, man. No, man, it's Ghetto Boys. I forgot y'all. Shoot, Misha knew. It's the Ghetto Boy. But he had a song called Mind Playing Tricks on Me. Well, they did. And then he did his own version when he came out with Diary, Mind Playing Tricks on Me 94. I'm only mentioning that because they made a song talking about how his mind was causing him to think, see, and believe things that were not actually happening. You know what I'm talking about? So, of course, when we look in the text and they say the heart is deceitful above all things, your mind will play tricks on you. Your mind will make you believe a reality that doesn't exist. You know how people talk about, oh, I'm an overthinker. Overthinkers create scenarios that don't exist. That's your mind playing tricks on you. And your mind is trying to convince you of a reality that don't exist because you're pondering on a matter and your mind lying to you and to cause you to ruin your life. Monte said they probably only heard that Kodak sampled it. I didn't even know Kodak sampled it. And that's probably because I don't listen to Kodak's music. No disrespect to him, but it's like, what I want to listen to that for? You know, you could pick up a song here and there for them dudes, but you know, I don't want to listen to your whole album. You know, I feel like I may be dumber for it after it's over. You know what I'm saying? You must say that. You must like Kodak a lot, Lee. She said, I do not. Why you don't like Kodak, Lee? Because he ugly. That's why. No. Oh, we good over there. Let's take a look at something else as it pertains to feasts. I'll finish that matter. Oh, Genesis 18 and 17. My apologies.
And Yahuwah said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do?
Should I hide from Abraham the thing that I do?
Saying that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation.
A great and mighty
and all
nation.
the nations of the earth shall be baruched in him.
Mm-hmm.
For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him.
Mm-hmm.
They shall keep the way of Yahuwah to do justice and judgment, that Yahuwah may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken.
He said he do what? Oh, what that nigga that? He said that I know him, that he should do what?
Command his children and his household after him.
To do what?
Keep the way of Yahuwah.
And to do justice and judgment.
That Yahuwah may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken.
See, Yahuwah knew Abraham was going to obey. He already knew that. See, one thing about Yahuwah is Yahuwah know who's going to obey and who ain't. He already know the answer to that. But Ecclesiastes 10-19. Let's talk a little bit more about a little bit of feasting. Ecclesiastes 10-19. You know what? Pause. Come over here, man. Give me 10 and 8. All a few things, man. 10 and 8. Real quick, like I'm just giving extras. Come on, let's roll.
He that dig a pit shall fall into
Now,
it.
remember, I was telling y'all how to be some women out here do certain stuff to cause a man to fall. But this is not referring to that specifically. But you got people, this is what the scribes and Pharisees and Judas sought to do, to dig a pit for a man, but they fell into the same pit. See, this is what happens with people who seek to set something up to cause somebody to fall. Not necessarily fall for sin, but to fall into death. Remember what I tell you in Deuteronomy, if you seek to bring a witness to forget your brother to be killed, the same thing that you sought to be done to your brother going to be done to you. Come on with it, man.
He that dig a pit shall fall into it, and whoso break a hedge, a serpent shall bite him.
Look at his right. I want y'all to see. I got you. See what a hedge is. That's the door. That's a fence or a wall. Somebody who seek to break the protection that God got with somebody, go ahead and just know the serpent of death gonna bite you. See numbers if you don't know what I'm talking about. Come on with it.
Whoso removes stones shall be hurt therewith.
He
that cleave wood shall be endangered thereby.
If the iron
be blunt and you do not wet the edge, then must he be put to more strength.
But wisdom
profitable to direct.
Listen, right? He say wisdom is profitable to direct. What is profitable? It is yaron. That is advantage. That is profit. That is excellency. When you have that skill in war, when you got that coke ma, then you can get kashar, and that will cause you to be successful, to be advantageous, to succeed, to be suitable, to be proper. You understand? When you turn around and get you some good wisdom, it can cause you to be excellent and succeed in whatever you put your hand to do. But you got to have the wisdom of God to be able to do that. That's the skill in war. And what is the beginning of wisdom? It's the fear of Yahuwah. When you have reverence and respect to Yahuwah, then you're going to have the skill to move how you need to move. Go ahead, sir.
Surely the serpent will bite without enchantment, and the babbler is no better.
Surely a serpent will do what?
Bite without enchantment.
Tell them what enchantment is.
Lakash, that's whispering, charming.
So you know, right? You know, devil mean whisperer, right? So surely the serpent will bite with whisper. Now tell them what it is, what a babbler is. Vain talker. That's what it is. Slanderer, maybe.
That's Baal, owner, a husband,
a lord, and a babbler. A lord is no better. So that's Baal. Now you think about that. And a false god ain't no better. Continue.
The words of a wise man's mouth, gracious.
The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of the fool
will swallow up himself.
That's why I told you got to be careful about talking about stuff and you don't know what you're talking about, because you can swallow your own self up. Continue.
The beginning of the words of his mouth,
foolishness. The end of his talk,
mischievous madness.
Ooh, woo. So he said, fool will swallow himself up. That means the beginning of his words is going to be pure stupidity. And the end of his talk, tell him what mischievous madness is.
Mischievous is bad or evil.
Evil, madness.
Yeah, madness is madness.
Evil, madness. They're going to teach you the wrong stuff. You're going to go to hell. Verse 14.
A fool also is full of words. A man cannot tell what shall be and what shall be after him. Who can tell him?
I mean, a fool do a whole lot of talking. Just go ahead and let him talk. He's stupid. Verse 15.
The labor of the foolish Weary every one of them, because you know not how to go to the city.
The word, they say, the labor of the foolish wearies every. He does not know how to enter into the kingdom of God. He can't get into New Jerusalem. He don't know how to do it. Verse 16.
Woe to you, O land, when your king a child and your princes eat in the morning.
Baruch.
Are you, O land, when the king, the son of nobles, and your princes eat in due season?
When they eat and do what?
Season.
For what?
Strength
and not
for drunkenness.
Don't you not understand that the princes drank for strength and not drunkenness when they were drinking that wine with that man? Don't you know when you sip that cup on Passover, you drinking that for strength and not? Listen to it. Back up to verse 16, right? He said, destruction, O land, when your king is a what?
A child.
See, it was destruction in Jerusalem when Yahushua was a child. Remember, we were talking about that in Luke 2. We just didn't go no further with it. Then he say, and your princes eat when?
In the morning.
But he say, but Baruch is the land when the king,
the son of nobles,
and your princes eat when?
In due season.
Tell them what due season is.
Due season is time.
And the proper time. And they drink for what? Strength.
Not for drunkenness.
Not for drunkenness. Verse 18.
By much slothfulness, the building decayed.
See, guess what? That slothfulness is why the house decayed in 2 Kings 13. Listen to it.
And through idleness of the hands, the house dropped through.
Tell them what drop through is. That was men who don't want to get out there and do the work. Right? Remember the parable with the dude who ain't get out there and flip that talent? Okay.
The aloftness, to drop, to drip, to weep, to drop through, to melt, to pour out.
Now, we can't read all that just to get to verse 19. Listen to verse 19. Listen what it says.
A feast is made for laughter.
It's made for who?
Laughter.
And the wine.
Make merry.
But money.
Answer all.
Pause. What y'all think that could mean? I also want you to hear this verse right here. I'll read it. Curse not the king. No, not in thought. Curse not the rich in your bedchamber. For the bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which have wings shall tell the matter. So, it's a lot of people be cursing Mashiach in their thoughts. He say, don't do it. But what y'all think that mean? A feast is made for laughter, and wine make merry. Tell them what merry means. Of course, wine should be yayin, but that's okay. We don't need to focus on that.
Merry is samak, to rejoice, to be glad.
So this wine make you glad, right? Tell them what laughter is.
Seko, that's laughter, laughing stock.
What y'all think that mean? A feast is made for laughter. You got any idea, Lee? Doris? Doris need to go
And
home.
rise up to eat, drink, and play.
No. That ain't the one right there. Good. That is not the one. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give y'all a second, and then I'm gonna give you what you give your son. Deidre said celebration. Misha said good vibes, and I would see why you would say that. But a celebration of what? Good vibes for what? I seen a chick. And this ain't got nothing to do with what Misha just said. It just made me think. To be glad was I heard a chick. She said everybody want to be with me. I'm a vibe. I'm like, oh, what does that even mean? You're a vibe. What is a vibe? Ain't nobody got nothing for me. He said a feast is made for laughter. For laughter. Do me a favor, good sir. Return to Esther chapter 2, verse 18 and read that. Can anybody tell me why laughter is important? Deidre says most feasts celebrate an accomplishment or joyous occasion. I will allow it, boo. She ain't specific enough, but she's close. Boo's close enough.
Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and servants, Esther's feast. And he made a release to the
Whose
provinces,
feast?
Esther's feast.
It's the stars' feast. This is a feast for the sons. It's for the feast for the offspring.
And gave gifts according to the state of the king.
Tell them what again? According to the state of the who?
The king.
Tell them what state it is again. And remember when he had a release for the provinces, that was rest, remember?
State is hand, strength, power.
The strength of the king. He made this feast according to the strength of the king. Tell them what release is one more time in case they don't remember from last night.
day of rest.
There it say a feast made to make one merry in the kingdom, no crying for the future. Say that again for me, sir. Heal the bones, laughter, sister.
It's a day of rest.
A day of rest. So I'm already over here. So I got it. Before I tell you where we're going, can anybody tell me what man represents laughter in the text? It's one man in this book that represents. Who? I ain't see no name. Who name you got in here? Oh, there it is. She did write it already. Boop said Isaac, and so did Brother Reynolds. Isaac is representative. So if Isaac is representative of laughter, then let's go to Genesis 21 and 8. 21 and 4. Tell me what it says.
And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old.
He did what?
Circumcised his son.
Isaac?
Being 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah said, Elohim had made me to laugh.
Elohim has made me to what?
To laugh.
Made me to what?
To laugh.
Go ahead.
All that hear will laugh with me.
All that hear will do what?
Laugh with me.
All that believe will laugh with me. She said all that hear, right? Mm-hmm. Faith come by what? And hearing come by the what? Mm-hmm. So everybody that hear is going to do what with it? Laugh. Okay, go ahead.
And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck, for I have borne a son in his old age?
Mm-hmm.
And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast.
A what?
A great feast.
He made a what?
A great feast. That Isaac was weaned.
Do y'all know what this feast represents? We don't talk about it that often. This is stuff we talked about years ago. Do y'all know what feast this represents? No, I wagered that, but Chris was just talking about when someone says they vibe, they're saying that their energy and spirit is different and how they move. Yes, this feast is representative of first fruits. See, the three feasts that you got to come up on are mentioned in Genesis 14, which is Passover with the bread and wine with Abraham and Melchizedek. Isaac being the firstborn and only begotten of Abraham is representative of first fruits. And then when Jacob left to get his wife, it's representative of tabernacles. You understand? So I just want you to keep that in mind, because that means they sit down to having a great feast for the first fruits, for the firstborn son. And those that laugh, those that hear, notice she said those that hear will laugh with her. Because in Isaac shall your what? Seed be called. And not seeds of many, but seeds of one. That seed being who? Hamashiach. And he said, right, the Redeemer shall come to Zion, all those that turn from transgression. And this is the covenant that I make with you. The ruach that is upon you and the word that is in your mouth shall not depart out of the mouth of your seed, nor to the mouth of your seed from henceforth and forever. Because everyone who hears will laugh with her. Come over here and give me John 8 and 29. So laughter being that will, all the sorrow and craziness going on, you have to laugh to find some type of joy. And see, I understand why y'all can say that, right? Because y'all looking at it from the natural aspect, right? But he said a feast is made for what?
Laughter. So
that feast was made for Isaac. So that means that feast is made for what? For the seed. That means that feast is made for the offspring. That feast is made for the son. Because remember, what did that Esther 2 and 18 say? Whose feast was it? That's the stars' feast. That's the feast for the sons and daughters of Elohim. That's who that feast is for. It's a day of rest according to the power of the king. That you'll sit down. He said he made this feast specifically for Esther, and that she had more grace and favor above everybody else. Above everybody else. So this is a feast that a man make for his son to celebrate him. You understand? John 8 and 29.
And he that sent me is with me. The Abba have not left me alone, for I do
Paul,
always
let me ask y'all a question. When Moses, she did, and that's why she named him Isaac. That's why his name means that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she did, Christian. So let me ask y'all a question. When Moses stepped to Pharaoh, when he said, "Let my people go," What did he say the people needed to do when he had told Pharaoh, you need to let my people go so we can do what? That's not the only thing he said.
Oh, they want to make a feast.
Go make a feast to our God. You understand? What you think you're going to be doing when you slide up out of here? You think you're finna be sitting around looking stupid? But you finna go have a feast. It's finna be a celebration. You understand? Continue. John 8:29.
And he that sent me is with me, that the Abba have not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him.
Mm-hmm.
And he spake these words, and many believed on him.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, Yahoo shouts to those Yahudim which believed on him. If you continue in my word, are you my disciples indeed?
Mm-hmm. Hold on, Darius. Go ahead.
You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
The truth shall make you what?
Free.
You'll be free from sin and death. Come on.
They answered him, we be Abraham's seed.
We ain't been in bondage to any man.
How say you, you shall remain free?
He that commit.
Truth shall I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin.
And the servant.
Abide not in the house forever. The son abide forever.
Who abide forever?
The son.
Look here, right? Who got put out the house? Because you know why? Who was his mammy?
There you go.
She was the bondwoman, representative of the flesh, who abided in the house forever. And he that hears shall do what?
Wow. So
if you hear, you're going to abide with the only forever. Because that's what it said, right? Yeah, kid, he the only son. Only begotten. I ain't got no son. What about Ishmael? What about him? But that's Abraham's seed too. No. And Isaac shall your seed be called. That's what that Romans 9 telling you about. Now all Yasharal is of Yasharal, because in Isaac shall your seed be called. You got to be of the promise. That's why she said, he that hears shall laugh with me. See, what people don't even understand, well, Sarah prophesied at that particular moment in time. But more people don't pay attention to that. That wasn't just no statement she was saying. She was prophesying that everybody that hears will laugh with her. That means everybody who, and you're going to see why in a minute, everybody who hears the word, who hears of Isaac, the only son, and believes, is going to laugh with her, because you'll laugh with Jerusalem, who Sarah is representative of, if you understand Isaiah 51. But let's continue.
If the son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed.
You shall be free indeed.
I know that you are Abraham's seed.
That's good. I got this one. Psalms 126. Psalms 126. Psalms 126 says this: when Yahuwah have turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like them that dream. Then was our mouth filled with laughter, and our tongue with singing. They said among the heathen, Yahuwah have done great things for them. Yahuwah have done great things for us. We are glad. Turn again our captivity, O Yahuwah, as the streams in the south. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that go forth and weep, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again rejoicing, bringing his sheaves. Tell him what sheaves is, good sir.
Luma, that is a sheaf as something bound of Yasharal returning from exile.
That's you coming back. He said he come, tell him what precious seed is. He said he coming bearing precious seed. Notice that he shall go forth and weep, bearing precious seed. What's that?
Precious is mashek, a drawing up a trail.
Seed is a rock.
Possession, a precious price.
Something that is a possession, something that he owns, something that's valuable to him.
Seed is offspring.
Offspring. Don't you understand how precious Isaac was to Abraham? Don't you understand how precious his saints is to him? Do you not understand, as far as Yahuwah is concerned, that you are Isaac and you are that precious to him, the same way that Isaac was to Abraham, and the same way that Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac, that he's giving all he had to you? Because you're a representative of the only begotten son when you put on Mashiach. Give me Romans 13, man. Give me 13 and 11. But you notice how it said when our captivity got turned, that was our mouth was filled with what? Laughter. He that hears shall laugh with me, because it's representative of you coming in for that feast, to sit down with this man and with the laughter and to rejoice because you are with your maker. That's why I say a feast is made for laughter, and the wine make the heart rejoice. And we're going to get to the wine because I got to ask So I start it now, and y'all willing, we'll conclude it on tomorrow. Go ahead.
And that knowing the time that now is high time to wake out of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
For now our salvation nearer than we believe.
Mm-hmm.
The night is far spent, the day is at hand.
The day is at hand.
Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness.
Let us do what?
Cast off the works of darkness.
Go
Let
ahead.
us put on the armor of light.
Put on what?
The armor of light.
What else?
Let us walk honestly as in the day.
As in the wind?
As in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envy.
That's right.
But put you on the Lord, Yahushua Mashiach.
Put on who?
Yahushua Mashiach, and make not provision for the flesh.
You need to put Isaac on.
To the lust.
Or you need to put Jacob on. Remember that what Jacob did, he put on Esau, he put on the firstborn. You're going to need to put Esau on if you want to be saved. I know it's a goofy brew right now. Well, somebody got to put on the white man. Sit down and be quiet, son. It's above your pay grade. You know what I'm talking about? Because didn't that what Jacob did? He put on the firstborn to get the blessing. Isaac couldn't tell who was who, did it? Guess what? Who ain't going to tell who is who? You're going to have to put Mashiach on. You have to put the Lord on. You're going to have to put the firstborn on. You want a blessing. You don't do it, you're going to hell. You're going to be just like Esau. I get a blessing too, Daddy. I ain't got no blessing. What about me, Daddy? Ain't got no blessing. But I'm crying, Daddy. I ain't got no blessing. Why no blessing for me, Daddy? You seek it with tears, seeking for repentance, but I ain't got nothing for you because you despised your birthright and you sold it because your God is your belly. You mind earthly things. So I ain't got nothing for you, son. See, at the end of the day, we want to look at Jacob tricked Esau out his birthright. No, he didn't. Esau made a decision. He didn't trick that man. Esau came to him and said, I'm hungry to the point of death. He said, okay, then, sell me your birthright then. He said, man, what good is my birthright seeing I'm finna die? There was no deception. He made an offer, that nigga took it. He didn't value it. It wasn't important to him because he minded earthly things. He wanted a pot of beans. He wasn't willing to suffer with God to maintain the birthright. Give me the lust of my flesh now. That's what type of man Esau was. There was no deception there. Even with the thing with putting on Esau, that wasn't Jacob's idea. That's what his mama told him to do. He said, Mama, if I do this, I'm going to be cursed. She said, baby, let that reproach fall on me. See, that's a representative of the Lord right there. And I'm just saying this here for you ladies who don't know. Yeah, it's women in the word who Mashiach modeled herself after, and not necessarily like we were talking about with the giving birth. She was on the aspect of Mashiach then. She said, baby, I'll take that dishonor for you. Just go fulfill my will. Oh, see, that's what you praise you for. See, that people don't pay attention to that. Man, fulfill every book and every line, man. I don't know what's wrong with these people, man. And I ain't saying this here because it's look what we know. Man, it's a beautiful thing to understand the power, mercy, and nature of your maker. Because that's why that Hebrews 4 say what it say, that we could go to the throne for help in the time of need. You understand? Because we know who we dealing with. We know who he is. We know that we could go to his throne for help. And he'll hearken unto our prayers and our words because we do the things that please him and seek to fulfill his will. So it's a light matter for him to honor your request. It's a light matter. It don't mean nothing. Let me read y'all this joint real quick, like in this Esther 2:7. You know what I'm saying? He said, they gave drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another. Royal wine in abundance to the state of the king. The drinking according to the law, none did compel. For so the king had appointed all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Now, Civic, I need you to do me a favor. Give me diverse by definition. I'm just getting you started. Y'all willing? We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Diverse by definition. I will get y'all willing verse 6 with the hangings. But I'm waiting on that. I want to. We talk about wine make merry in that Ecclesiastes 10:19. So I'm segueing into this right now. You're in Esther 2:7. I need diverse. And after that, royal wine. Man, can you believe that I cut my leg again in the same exact cut on my calf? Damn piece of glass came straight through that bag and literally cut me in the exact same place. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. See, I was in 2-7. You were 1-7.
Oh, yeah, 1-7. My bad.
Diverse is shana, to repeat, to do again, to change, to alter.
Notice, right? So this ain't diverse like it's different. This is the vessels have been changed. The vessels have been changed. That's what it said.
Mm-hmm.
Give them vessels then. The vessels have been altered. The vessels have been changed.
Vessel is keli, that is article.
Vessel. I just want y'all to think on these things. Y'all willing coming back first thing to discuss this again. Royal wine.
Royal is Malkuth.
Malkuth, which is royal dominion,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. Wine yayin.
Mm-hmm.
So this is royal wine. This is wine that comes from the king. State of the king. Or just state. It should be power again.
Mm-hmm.
So then I want you to look at none did compel in verse 8. Because I waited to be one sentence, but it might not be.
Did compel is one.
That's what we want.
That's onas, that's to compel, to constrain, to insist.
So this is non-stop. So the drinking was according to the law. Nobody stopped them. Remember what we just read in Ecclesiastes 10. He said they drunk for what? Strength and not drunkenness.
Mm-hmm.
So these vessels have been changed was because they have this drink in vessels of gold. Give them drink in verse 7. Just see what it says.
That's shakal, to give, to drink.
So I'm gonna give you the drink, and each vessel I'm gonna change, and I'm not gonna constrain them from drinking. Now I'm gonna read this to you real quick, like in Matthew 26 and 26. We'll end right there. Yahuwah willing, we'll pick it right up on the Shabbat and dealing with this them drinking this royal wine and drinking according to the law. And as they were eating, Yahushua took bread and baruch and brake and gave to the disciples and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." He took the cup and gave thanks and gave to them, saying, "Drink you all of it. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Abba's Malkuth." So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We bless our Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua. Yahuwah willing, just think on them Esther, that Esther. Basically, y'all willing, on tomorrow, we're going to come right back to that Esther 1, that Ecclesiastes 10 and 19, just Matthew 26. And if your mind clicking, and if it don't click, you know, it's something to Deuteronomy 14 that go along with this. And we're going to look at that also. Also, because we're looking at it because a feast is for laughter and the wine make the heart rejoice. And we're going to look at a couple of things that pertain to that is for eating and drinking at his table and why new wine and things like that are mentioned and what that's all about. Also, more specifically about drinking according to the law and that he won't stop you. And I want you to think on the fact that he say that these vessels will be changed and made new. But I appreciate everybody's time this evening. Prayerfully, you got some understanding out of deal, like Baruch, y'all, and out the house of Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua. You know, let your faith be continually built and strengthened upon that rock, which is Mashiach, and let your Abba and Shamahim be esteemed because you walk according to that faith. Of course, you know, we're about 30 days out. If you would, for the observance of unleavened bread, beginning the night of April the 2nd. So for those of you who are not aware, you know what I'm saying, we will have service every single day of the feast. That means that will be 8 days in a row. I'm trying to give some of you new people a heads up. So on the night, the day of of the Shabbat, we'll still have Shabbat day service, but we'll probably we're gonna cut it short. It won't be go as far as usual because we'll be coming right back at about 8 p.m. Praise you, Brother Reynolds. Brother Reynolds say him and his son gonna be there. And then so basically on that weekly Shabbat, it'll be a double up. So it'll still be that regular afternoon service, and then it'll be a service that evening. So it's going to be 2 services that day. So I know it's starting on a Sunday night. So that'll be an 8 p.m. start time. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the days of during the week, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be 7:30 start time each and every day. That Friday night for the regular Sabbath, regular start time. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, regular start time Saturday afternoon, but it'll be shorter. We'll come back Saturday evening at 8. And then, of course, the last Sabbath of that particular feast day will be 8 p.m. also. If any of you, for whatever reason, desire to take the Passover, but you can't make it for whatever reason, and you desire to want to actually take it physically with the body, let me know so that I can set up, or you find yourself unclean for whatever reason, so that the second Passover service can be set up. Because if nobody don't say nothing, then we're not going to do a second Passover. So, of course, if you know the law, then you know what that's about. If somebody is unclean by reason of death or any manner of uncleanliness, then on the 14th day of the second month, that to do the second Passover, they could take it. You know what I'm talking about? So therefore, with that being said, if a second Passover is needed, then we would have service that night of the day of second Passover. You know what I'm talking about? So I need to be aware of that. Also, if any of you desire to be immersed, all you got to do is let me know that you have a desire to get immersed. And if the Lord allow, all you got to do is let me know when you're coming, and that'll be taken care of. There's nothing that you have to do other than, do you believe that Yahushua is the Son of God according to the scriptures? I can't tell you that you do. I can't tell you that you don't. I'm just going to let you know what it is that you say you're entering into. So that's it. If you do get immersed, that doesn't mean that you have to be a part of this assembly. That's not what the text say. It's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? You're not being immersed into this congregation. You're being immersed into the body of Mashiach. So, yeah, you don't need to be worried about, do I got to be with y'all if I do that? No, you do not. You know what I'm saying? You can go get the word wherever you want to get it from. But I'm just saying that so that we can prepare accordingly, because usually when we do immersions, we do it on the Sabbath so everybody can be there so that they can rejoice with you. If it is not, if logistically it's not possible for you to arrive on the Sabbath to do it, then you just have to let me know so that I can properly clear what I got going on so that I can be available to do that for you. That's it. It's nothing else to it other than that. So, yeah, I think that's all I got. So, yeah, I'll keep reminding y'all about unleavened bread and things of that nature. But y'all just continue to stay firm in the faith, man, and let Yahuwah guide your steps, and let His word be in your heart, man, and make yourself be quick and by the righteousness of faith. So I appreciate y'all time this evening, and y'all willing, man, on tomorrow we'll be back at it. Misha, I know you said